Guys, he was a technology executive in HR, but used those salaries to build up a nice personal nest egg to make sure he could pay off his mortgages, pay off all his car loans, pay off everything so he could take the risk and launch the company, which he did in 2019 called Umwelt.ai. It helps HR managers make sure their employees are happy so they retain them. He's got 16 customers today. Those are companies that pay for 16,000 seats on his platform. That yields $10,000 per month in revenue or 120 grand of ARR. He's kept the company lean, 6 people full-time out of India, paid himself very little, about to close a $200,000 pre-seed round at a $3 million post-money valuation. We'll see what happens next. Hey folks, my guest today is Vishal Chopra. He's a seasoned professional with 2 decades in HR leadership, coaching, and mentoring. A former HR head turned teacherpreneur, he pioneered Umwelt.ai to empower CEOs and CHROs in shaping a future-ready, people-first culture using AI. His expertise drives employee engagement and retention through tech-driven insights, transforming workplaces for lasting success. Vishal, you ready to take us to the top?
Yeah.
All right. So give me a customer story today. Who's using Umwelt for employee engagement and people analytics?
So these are large enterprises, basically from different industries, normally service industries, which are highly, I would say, employee intellectual dependent, right? So basically, these are the companies which would have large intellectual property in terms of employees, knowledge base, and they are largely dependent on the employee actually to serve their customers.
Let's use a specific example just so my audience can really understand what you do. You have Puma listed on your website as a customer. How does Puma use you?
Yeah, so they use us for having the interaction with the employees throughout the journey and understanding their behaviors, needs, experiences within the company. And we use behavioral science behind it to understand the psychology of the employees and their experiences within the company. Proactively generate the alerts to the CEOs and HR leaders to understand that what is missing in the organization, what employees are looking for, and how they can actually retain and engage their employees proactively.
Okay, you didn't use the word Puma in any of those sentences. So let's talk specifically kind of about Puma. So for example, does Puma's onboarding and recruitment team use you as an applicant tracking system?
So this is experience analytics, right? Which means that similar to employee experience feedback, the customer experience feedback, right? What we do is that right through onboarding till post exit, we set up the journey of an employee within the company, right? And we decide that when, at what intervals, and what the points that matters to the employee's journeys, we want to have an interaction with them.
Vishal, I'm trying to get away from using buzzwords and give you the opportunity to actually tell us how a real customer uses you. So for example, Puma does quarterly employee reports. The Puma HR managers let me just give you an example so you understand what I'm trying to get at. Right? Is Umwelt used to do, for example, the performance review every quarter at Puma so that we can make sure that the HR leaders are empowering the team members to hit their bonuses, for example?
Okay. So I will talk about Veromoda specifically, right here. Again, the similar client retail. So we help them to actually, right at the point of the onboarding of the employee itself, they go through the induction process, right? Now, post-induction, so our bot's name is Nikki. So Nikki goes and interact with them and understand their experience, how their experience has been throughout the induction process. So that would involve, from the company's perspective, they want to deliver specific experiences to their employees. So we check back that if they actually have those experiences and what were the lags behind those experiences of an employee, could they contribute to them looking for leaving the company as well? Right.
I see.
And we help generate these insights to the CEOs, HR heads, all the HR partners to take those actions and rectify those problem areas, speak to the employees, and keep them engaged and working with the company.
Understood. What does the average customer pay you per month to use this kind of technology?
So it is 0.5 to $1 per employee per month.
Okay, so what is the average size of a customer that's using you then in terms of number of employees?
Typically 2,000 employees to 10,000 employees.
Okay, so let's pick a midpoint there. Let's say 7,000 is the average team size. At 50 cents a seat, the average customer is paying you $3,500 per month. Is that a fair average?
Correct.
Okay, interesting. Okay, give us the backstory here. When did you launch the business?
So I started working on Umwelt in 2018, and we launched in 2019 July, right?
Okay. How did you get your
And
first
since
customer? Do you remember?
yeah, it was bestseller, which is Veramoda only, Jack and Jones, Selected. These are all the brands belonging to the same group, right? So it is a huge group with all these retail apparel brands.
Oh, what's going on there, YouTube? Good to see you guys. Now imagine this. You love watching these interviews with SaaS founders, but imagine if we took all of the valuation data out from over 2,807 interviews I've done manually. Saves you a lot of time. Well, we've done this. We've built it into the beautiful interface inside of FounderPath. Check this out. I'll show you how you can access this in a second, but you log in, you connect your Stripe account, you see your valuation real time, you can see what it changed over the past 88 days, and even set goals for valuation this year. Now, the secret to valuation is there's many different ways to value a SaaS business. So the reason you're going to see 3 or 4 different valuations inside of your FounderPath dashboard, this is all free by the way, is because depending on who's doing the buying of your SaaS company, you're going to get a different valuation. A VC is going to pay a different valuation. Private equity firm is different. If you're going to do a minority sale, that's different. And if you sell the whole business, that's a different valuation. You can see all those when I hover over here. Right, so the teal is what a VC would pay, yellow is what private equity, and red is if you sold the whole thing outright. Now, what's cool about this is not built off random data. Again, you guys hear these interviews on YouTube. All these data are built from real-time valuation data points founders share with us on the show. So traction, 1.2 million, seed round, 3.7 raise, they sold 22% of their business. Go in here and filter by the event. Maybe you only want to see companies that have sold the whole business. Well, here are a bunch that have been acquired, the valuation and the multiple. Maybe you're going out right now and you're raising your seed round. Well, go in here and look at all this recent seed deals that went down, what they raised, what valuation they raised at, and what percent that they sold. There's never been a larger data set of SaaS valuations than what you can get now inside of FounderPath, and we're thrilled to bring it to you. All right, we're going to go back to the YouTube video here in a second, but if you want to check this tool out, if you want to jump in and sign up, you can check it out for free to get your valuation at this link, founderpath.com/products/valuations. Or if you go to founderpath.com and hover over products, click on get your valuation here and go ahead and sign up to give it a whirl. Again, all that valuation data live right inside the platform. I hope to see you there. All right, let's jump back into the interview.
How did you land that customer though? That's a big group to get as your first customer. Usually big enterprises don't work with startups.
I come from the HR fraternity, so I know a good number of CHROs, my ex-colleagues, right? So I went with this idea to them and started exploring that what exactly they will look forward to have. Because I think communicating with the employees is the largest problem any organization has today. If you see right from Google's or Facebook's, everybody is facing that challenge that how to interact with the employees and how to actually preempt that what exactly is their experience. Listening to the voice of the employee is very important today.
Understood.
So
do you remember what the contract size was on that first customer?
So it was around 20K annual.
Okay, interesting. And have you sensed increased or decreased prices generally?
Increase.
Yep. How did you make the decision that 20K was the right price to go out to the market with back in 2019?
So I looked at my cost very specifically. So I didn't want to actually charge it. So it was very specifically looking at my cost as well as the market competition. I wanted to actually make it keep it very, very lucrative, right? So one of the things was only not when we use the word AI, typically what happens to the mind is that the price is going to be 10x. But I wanted to keep it same as those annual feedback surveys were charging for one single communication with an employee on annual basis. We charge the same amount on automating the complete journey of these interactions. So it could be 7, 8, 9, 10 conversations. We do not control the number of conversations you want to have with the employees.
Understood. So that was your first customer. Fast forward to today, 4 or 5 years later, how many customers are you working with?
So currently we have around 15,000 paid users. We do not take number of customers into consideration, but paid users. So it is 15,000 paid users what we have right now, working with 16 brands right now.
Okay,
So if you say customers, it is 16 brands.
I just want to make sure we're using the same lingo consistently throughout the interview. When you say 15,000 paid users, let me rephrase that. You have 16 companies working with you that pay for 15,000 employee seats. Is that accurate?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so 16 times $3,500 per month on average, which you shared earlier, would put you about $56,000 a month in MRR today. Is that accurate?
No. So we are at a monthly average of around 10,000.
Okay, so you're at 10,000 in MRR today. So I guess what isn't accurate? Is the ARPU less per customer, or do you have less customers?
It is lesser ARPU.
Okay.
ARPU places.
Yeah, $10,000 per month across 16 companies would be $625 per month per company on average.
Yeah.
And $625 per month at $1 per seat per employee would mean that each company is actually about 600 big, not an average of 2,000 to 10,000 employees, like you shared earlier, correct?
Yeah. So few of these companies form under the group. So when we accumulate the number of employees, we actually calculate at the group level, not at the company level.
Okay, got it. So MR is 10,000 per month today. I mean, the obvious question is you started working on this in 2018, 2019. This is a very small amount of revenue, Vishal, to be working on this for 4 or 5 years. Why haven't you just take this thing behind this shed, shot it, start over with a new idea?
So I'm still with an idea, to be very frank. So the kind of technology we were building, and we wanted to keep it really cheap. So we invested a lot on building the technology itself.
How much have you invested so far?
So we have invested around. So I'm just converting into USD, right? So it would be around 200K.
How much of that was your own money?
That is all bootstrapped. So we are currently bootstrapped.
So that $200,000, where did that come from? That's just company revenue?
It is all customers' money. So
okay.
we invested, reinvested the customers' money.
So you didn't put any money in at the start, and you haven't raised any external capital today?
No. So we are raising our first pre-seed round right now. That is, as we speak, the next week we are closing off the transaction.
Okay. How much are you targeting in the round?
So we are targeting 200K right now.
Okay. At what valuation?
At a valuation of 3 million right now.
How do you defend that valuation? An investor is going to say you've been doing this for 5 years. You only have 10K of revenue. That's 120 grand a year. A 3 million revenue multiple will be over a 30x multiple in a compressed equity market. How do you defend that valuation?
So we are looking at reaching $1 million within the next 1 year.
Why would anyone believe that though, when it's taken you 4 years to hit 10K of MRR?
We already have the pipeline in place.
Well, yeah, but you probably felt good about your pipeline 2 years ago too. What proves, or what do you point to say, hey, investors, I can execute this pipeline and close it?
We never had a pipeline earlier. We were never marketing. So it was all the clients through the referrals, what we were getting, and we were building the product along with them. Mm-hmm. Right. Today, we have reached to a level where exactly we have started going to the market and actually started doing marketing 6 months back. Mm-hmm. That is why we have this pipeline now.
Do you have a lead investor already with a signed LOI?
So we already have, an accelerator program, and that is with whom we are closing the transaction.
Okay, but Vishal, do you have a signed letter of intent?
Yes.
Okay, so, and do you have the final closing docs on the round, whether it's a SAFE or convertible note?
It is a SAFE.
It's a SAFE. Okay, got it. And I guess what gives you confidence that you're going to be able to close that next week?
We have already completed the due diligence process, everything, and it is the final signing of the agreement, which is pending for tomorrow.
I see. With this $200,000 investment, what do you think it'll enable you to invest in, and what do you think you'll be able to drive company revenue to from that investment?
So we have been all through. Maybe I'm coming from old school, so we have been always profitable. So whatever we were actually getting from the client, that is what we were investing, and this whole investment goes to marketing.
Mm-hmm. What's the team size today? How many full time?
6 people.
6 people. How are you profitable with 6 people, paying their salaries with only 10K of revenue?
It is all product team. It is all technology team. So we never had any marketing or sales guy.
Well, that's fine, but 6 people, if you're profitable, that means you're more than paying their salaries with your revenue, which is 10K per month. And that means on average, they're making, what is that, $1,500 per month or about 20,000 per year salaries? Is this like really cheap labor somewhere? Or?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So
that is all in India. So the biggest hit would have been, if I see my market value, right? So that is my investment, which has been going in.
So you haven't paid yourself?
Very less, only my kitchen expenses, you can say.
Interesting. How do you, I mean, this is a bit of a personal question, but it's very important when you're launching a company. How low have you driven your personal living expenses so you can keep as much money in the company as possible?
I will say I've been still living well. I never had, my lifestyle was, I kept it while I was at a height of my career as well. I kept it very simple. I don't have any mortgages. So before, I made sure that when I actually opened this company, launched this company, before that itself, I closed off all my mortgages. I had no car loans, no housing loans, nothing else. So I think that in itself helped a lot, because I kept those monthly expenses are actually my monthly expenses to live.
Yep, that makes sense. Well, we're certainly rooting for you. On that note, let's wrap up with the famous 5. Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
I've been reading one of the business books right now, which is,
we don't remember. We can skip it. No worries. Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
I closely follow Steve Jobs. If I look back.
Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building Umwelt?
So Figma is what we use.
Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
How many
hours of sleep?
I take 8 hours of sleep each day.
And what's your situation? Married, single, kids?
Married with a single kid.
That's great. How old are you, Vishal?
I am 44, and my daughter is 7 years.
That's great. Last question. Something you wish you knew when you were 20?
I think I would have spent more time in tech then, right? Which I got to now since last 5 years.
Guys, he was a technology executive in HR, but used those salaries to build up a nice personal nest egg to make sure he could pay off his mortgages, pay off all his car loans, pay off everything so he could take the risk and launch the company, which he did in 2019, called Umwelt.ai. It helps HR managers make sure their employees are happy so they retain them. He's got 16 customers today. Those are companies that pay for 16,000 seats on his platform. That yields $10,000 per month in revenue, or 120 grand of ARR. He's kept the company lean, 6 people, full-time out of India, paid himself very little, about to close a $200,000 pre-seed round at a $3 million post-money valuation. We'll see what happens next. Vishal, thanks for taking us to the top.
Thank you very much, Nathan. Nice being to you.
One more thing before you go. We have a brand new show every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. It's called Shark Tank for SaaS. We call it Deal or Bust. One founder comes on, 3 hungry buyers, they try and do a deal live, and the founder shares back-end dashboards, their expenses, their revenue, ARPU, CAC, LTV, you name it, they share it. And the buyers try and make a deal live. It is fun to watch every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. Additionally, remember, these recorded founder interviews go live. We release them here on YouTube every day at 2 p.m. Central. To make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you click the subscribe button below here on YouTube, the big red button, and then click the little bell notification to make sure you get notifications when we do go live. I wouldn't want you to miss breaking news in the SaaS world, whether it's an acquisition, a big fundraise, a big sale, a big profitability statement, or something else. I don't want you to miss it. Additionally, if you want to take this conversation deeper and further, we have by far the largest private Slack community for B2B SaaS founders. You want to get in there. We've probably talked about your tool if you're running a company, or your firm if you're investing. You can go in there and quickly search and see what people are saying. Sign up for that at nathanlatka.com
youtube.com/Slack. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with you here on YouTube. I'll be in the comments for the next 30 minutes. Feel free to let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up. We get a lot of haters that are mad at how aggressive I am on these shows, but I do it so that we can all learn. We have to counter those people. We got to push them away. Click the thumbs up below to counter them and know that I appreciate your guys' support. All right, I'll be in the comments. See ya.